Family giggled mischievously. Yeah, right. I exclaimed, laughing. We grabbed the shoes and left the house and checked. Just another Saturday with my boys.
Welcome to the channel, my people. So my sister AC, winging it with AC, she's also a content creator on YouTube. Yes, she organized this beautiful motherhood summit for boy moms. Yeah, especially for boy moms. You know, boys are let me not talk much. So we need dedication. So as mothers, we went to this beautiful summit organized by AC. Yeah, that there she is. We learned a lot, my people. Just watch and learn. It was so beautiful. I learned a lot.
Morning. The main thing about Apple Circuit. So since we don't have a lot of us who are in this, I'll be very grateful if we with all for so good morning once again, and my sincere apologies for us starting late. So before I make the introduction, I will welcome this group of people to give us CEO. A brief introduction to tell you how this came about. So I have a few mothers, friends who are mothers of boys, and there's one, her name is Mana. Anytime we meet in church, she will joke and say that, oh, we should meet mother of boys, we should meet, and she mentioned a few names of other mothers who have boys. And I was like, that's actually a great idea, but we never actually go around to it. So I think about a month ago, LRC had a parents capacity building workshop and Elder Davis, Elder Davis, it was Kevin Annan. He had said that you are not a rebel parent. Everyone somewhere has gone through what you're going through as a parent. So there's, the first person have maybe four girls and two boys, or three boys and five girls. Somebody somewhere has gone through what you're going through, whatever challenge in your parenting stage you are at. So talk to people, talk to other parents so that you know that you're not alone and somebody can help you through whatever stage you are at. So it was at that point that I had the idea and I was like, actually maybe we should just make it into a small program where we can learn from mothers who have gone ahead of us and have at least walked the path and they can share some things that they've learned along the way. This is also going to be based on Titus 2 verse 3 to 5, which says that likewise, teach the older women to be reverent in the way they live, not to be slanderous or addicted to too much wine, but to teach what is good. Then we can urge the younger women to love their husbands and their children. Amen. So we are going to move straight into the program. So what we're going to do is like we have our three resource persons. I'm going to introduce them, and then each of them will have about 15 minutes just to share with us what they've learned along the way, what they wish they knew, what they wish they could pass on. And then based on what they share with us, we would ask we give you the opportunity to ask questions. And in the registration form, there was the opportunity to ask questions that you already have. We've collected all of those questions. So after that, we will also read those questions out and then they will answer them as fit. So I'm going to start with the introduction. So our first resource person, Reverend Agnes Phillips, commonly known as Auntie Ivy. She's the heritage of the Eastern region. Agnes was dedicated her life to Christ at the age of 8. She attended Wesley Girls, where she was SC president in the sixth form, graduated in French and Political Science from University of Ghana, and also earned a postgraduate diploma in journalism and communication studies from the same university. Later, in the master's degree in international development at Cornell University. And then our next speaker person is Mrs. Mavis McCarthy, popularly known as Mrs. Mavis. So she's a development consultant specializing in investment, climate reform, and private sector development, development, effectiveness, and program reviews and evaluation. Auntie Mavis has been a Christian and an ardent follower of Christ since 1978. And then we have equally, after the popular name, but this is Lillian Phillips Kumaga. So she has three sons. She's a social psychologist and a lecturer at the Methodist University, Ghana. So let's welcome. All right, so we are almost welcome once again. So I'm going to we'll start with Lillian. Mrs. Kumada. So you share with us what you have you want us to learn about it, and we move on to continue.
Thank you very much. So I'm the youngest mother. This is my mother. So, well, what I wish I knew, I think I'm still learning. I have three sons. My first son is 13, then 11, and then 9. So I'm still learning, but it's one of the main things that I wish I had done better when we were growing up is to be more patient. So from the moment they arrived, or my first one arrived, I started growing. I realized that the children we have are not like us. In my mind, I said we're mutants, we're like genetically modified kind of people. They knew a lot, they said too much, that kind of thing. So in my mind, I think that these people, they've grown before that kind of thing. So I expected a lot and was very impatient when I thought that you in the things that I expected them to do. Impatient with their mistakes and how I handled their mistakes. I remember one episode very vividly. So I wish that I had been more patient with them, which leads me to the next point. I wish I had been more patient because I realized that they mirror us, they copy us, they imitate how we handle problems, how we solve problems, our reactions to things that we are not happy about, and they copy the behavior. So when I look at my older son and how he relates with his younger siblings, sometimes I see myself in there, and I'm a bit sad. Like if I had demonstrated more patience, more, I don't know, maybe he would respond better when his younger siblings upset him. So they do mirror us a lot. I hear certain things that they say, and I'm, oh, that's so mean. Or that's something that I have said before in response to something that someone had done, and I can see that he's copying. So because of that realization of how much they imitate us, I wish that I had been more conscious of that in terms of how I behaved and so on, so that they would copy the right behavior. Because now I say, don't shout on your brother, but then I can see that he's just doing what I did. And so I feel that I have to, put in some methods so that we can correct things, but it's not always that simple. Another thing that I wish I had done better was in terms of language. I wish I had my husband and I had a language policy before the children arrived, because we just jumped right into it. And then later, we had advice from other people that, if we had decided what language we would speak, because my husband and I don't have a common language. We speak English most of the time, but he can communicate in Tree, and sometimes we do speak in Tree, and I wish that we had started that. If we spoke, let's say, Akan in our home, but he spoke Ewe with them, maybe they'll speak Ewe with him, and then they'll speak Akan, because we don't realize how important it is that they speak a Ghanaian language. They are Ghanaians. That's one of the identities that we have. Your language is the thing that connects you to your culture. Sometimes I'm coming from school and I'm listening to Peace FM or something, and they ask me, what are they saying? And they don't get the nuances of our culture because they don't understand the language. And I feel like it's something that they really miss. If I can do something now, I'm trying to speak in Tree with them. They will come back to me in English. Some people are satisfied with that, but it's not enough. A lot of us are trying to let our children study hard so they can go outside. When they go outside, they say, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Ghana. Oh, but they don't know anything about what connects you to Ghana. There are some things that, for example, this morning I was thinking of a word like when we say, Yami or Body Chido. it's from that idea of like how we organize our kingly, I don't know, the war system. Like we have the Omani, then you have the different kinds of Ohins, you have the Chidomhin. And if you know what the Chidomhin does, then you're better able to appreciate when you're saying, I'm going Chidom. But if you are not, if you don't know the language, you cannot connect that to what God does. Like the nuance of what they are saying will be lost on you. So I wish that we had had a language policy so that from the beginning we are speaking the Ghanaian language, whatever Ghanaian language it was, I don't think it really matters as long as everybody can communicate with it. And then the last thing that I would say is something that I'm still realizing, not something that I wish that we had done, but something that I realize every day, how important the father is in the son's life. So, so, so important. I don't know what it is like to be a man. I can't even imagine it. But your father knows. And it's important that it's part of the fact that we do the scenes, we do the day-to-day things, that we bring the men in to raise the boys. Because it is so important. I remember during COVID time, I mean, he spent a lot of time teaching them sweeping, washing this, washing that. I did some of that, but I realized that they would listen better when he was doing it. They spent some time with their maternal grandma and said, oh, you're doing well in this. Who taught you this, Papa? Who taught you this, Papa? And she's like, I'm so very teaching them. But even though I'm teaching them the same, they seem to see that, okay, it's Papa doing it and demonstrating it, and so we are copying. So I realized that their father is so important in their lives. When they grow up, what it means to be a man, to navigate the world, they will get it better from their father than even from me. So even though as women we're trying to raise our boys in a particular way, we should not neglect the important role that their fathers play in their lives. If their father is not available, if you have a spouse who's not available for whatever reason, deceased, divorced, whatever it is, if you can get maybe another man in the church or whatever to play a kind of that kind of role, something like that for them, I think it'd be very important than trying to do everything ourselves. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. So we'll quickly move on to answer this.
Thank you. So I'll start off from where Lillian ended. I don't think you can emphasize the point about the role of fathers. And I had made it as a comment on if a mother and a daughter, and a father and a son. If I had two boys, I don't have a daughter, but the way I know kind of what it was like as a girl growing up, right, what the issues are. So there's a bond that a mother and daughter will have, because you understand, in the same way with the father and the son. So what Lillian is saying to start off there is, you need to combine your intuitive and whatever with the fathers. They know, they are, I mean, they were boys once, and you can't emphasize it. Number one for me, on what I would have done differently, I put my overprotectiveness. And I say that because every time I jokingly say that the boys didn't have scars under my watch. Okay, so it was typical of the mom whose boys would be adventurous. And the reason it was obvious was we were going as a family to Canada and I left 3 weeks earlier. When he came, he had a big bump on his forehead. It was the 3 weeks we got and he ran into the wall. So the thing was, they were trusting God with our kids. Let them be. Let them. You don't have to keep every small thing they do, like you're running after them. So there was protectiveness. And what was ironic about that is that we spent Christmas, this last Christmas with them. My older son is married, he's 32, and he chose this Christmas to regale us with stories of what they got up to when my dad was 10. I was still horrified. 30 years later, he said his cousins came, they were riding bikes, and his cousin lifted the front, and he did the same, fell in a gutter, a stone went into his palm, and he never said it. So because he knew my reaction, he knew they went to Rufus Green Park, they went on the lake with a raft. that thing has crocodiles in it. Like, I died this Christmas. So what became obvious was it's called Who Looks After Them. I did all that thing, but in the end, let them explore and not be there. God will trust God with them, basically. Okay. And then the second one I have is style preferences, things in terms of what I would have done differently. So, like, I thought good grooming was very short hair. So we were always going to the barber. And somehow I missed the fact that they said they didn't like it at all. They wanted their hair afro. So they resolved that when they get to a point where they are making the decision, they will not have their hair. If you see my older son's hair now, it's like serious afro. But it was such a minor thing that we could have found a balance. We didn't have to do barber all the time. So, and even the other one was like their style preferences. They are boys. So mommy would buy these patterned nice shirts. These days, when I look at what they wear, it's what on rags in my room. But that's their taste, you see. So again, I thought I imposed my style on them. And the fact that you need to hear them. This is a minor issue, but hear them. Okay. Then the next point I had was the evolving relationship. The roles changed. So at the start, it was always mommy. They were always, I was all over them, they all mommy, kind of, right? But as they grow, they're going to turn more to daddy in terms of their issues, so back to the important point, Miriam, if they haven't established a relationship then you have a problem. Because there will be things that is father-son chats. Things that, it's not everything that you can have that chat anymore. Today, the 32-year-old is actually closer to his dad. He's a father now, and he's closer to his dad. So if we hadn't, both of us hadn't played a core role in their lives, there would have been a gap now. Okay, so. And then just to add to that by the time they turned 18, they were more and more hanging out with their friends, not us. Okay, so at some point we had 4 18-year-olds in our home for a year. Because he was, and I used to feel almost like he's using that to not hang out with us. But that was the reality of the state they had reached. Their friends had become more the people they were hanging out with than us. And you need to have, in the time when you had the opportunity, invest all the values there because it will pass. And so at that time, they would and so each of us has a role. We need to ensure that we upload things. And then role modeling. Role modeling is also back linked to what Lillian said. The role modeling is more daddy than mommy. So how the two of us relate becomes critical, because how I treat their father and how their father treats me is what they pass on, what they become. So my son, the one who's married, his wife keeps saying, raise a fine young man. That's the compliment that I think every mother looks forward to. And she's seeing it says the son treats her like very, that's how is it, father. So they watch, kids do what they see, not just what you say. And so you need to look at that. You are setting an example as a couple to them. So you need to ensure that example is what you want them to. And the one other big example is that their dad is a serious chef. Okay, those who know that he's a serious chef. And the boys today, they send photos, my kids are both in Canada, they send photos of things they've cooked, stir-fry stuff, serious stuff. And when they learned it, because daddy at home, there was nothing wrong with daddy cooking. And I was telling Lillian how their shit on that they took to publicate. The people used to queue for their shit on because everyone liked it so much. And their friends would say, hey, this your mom's pepper is very good. And they say, no, my dad made it. And it was a stereotype they were breaking because they didn't ask who made the shit on. It had to be mommy. And the kids didn't have a problem saying, no, it's my dad who made the shit on. So those were some of the typical stereotypes. Then technology. I don't know how many people joined yesterday's phone addiction thing with the mental health authority. It was very educated. It will be on the mental health authority site. If you have the opportunity, look at listen. Technology was one of the things we struggled with because Suomi now is a professional game, competitive. That's the one where they game in international. Okay. And yet we went through all the phases. Our kids were the generation where technology was coming, Super Mario, early days. So we did regulation. You have to finish ABC. And even after you finish ABC, you can be online for only X time. And they learned it yesterday. Parents have had breaking stories of kids that would actually sleep with a mobile phone. If you take it, they won't sleep. They scream, and so we have a problem. And in terms of what we learned, I can't say that we go during the discussion to hear others, but I can't say that because in spite of what we did, I think what is important for me is that the younger one is the one who's a gamer. His relationship with God is closer than his love for gaming. So I take it in my stride. He's very committed to the things of God and also games. And then their walk with God, we didn't have, we did our walk with God thing by example rather than regimen. And again, I'm not saying this one, some homes would have a regular family all time things. Ours was, Christ was very much part of it. So we taught them to do have quiet time and things like music, all of us, we were joyfully, both of them joyfully, things like that. So they saw and emulated, and they are all making it. So I think that whichever way, whether you need to, if you can do both, for example, in regimen, but you need to ensure that at the point where they are making their own decision, they don't feel like they're doing it because they had to. And they know what they love, and we demonstrated that. So I think that's also key. And then my last one, societal influence. So our kids were the generation which had to send your girl child to school. Period. And I think when, as a country, we look back, it wasn't very helpful. I mean, it's good to encourage a gender because it's an issue, but you really have to put down another gender. So I remember we go to Richard's speech day, and a girl would be first, and a girl would be second, and then a boy is third. When the boy is going first, they say, clap for them or encourage the boys, and people would be laughing. And it was as if boys were suddenly an endangered speech ground. We don't want to do it. So we told them, invited them, that you are not blessed because you are. And we had an example where my son fought with a girl in class. And the teacher said they were both wrong, but because he's the guy, he should apologize. She shouldn't. He was so upset. So he came home saying it was very unfair because she even started it and everything. Again, the teacher was working with society's expectation. If they both did the wrong thing, they should apologize to each other. But to say that because she's a girl, she gets away with it. I didn't think that was it. So that's an example of you have to work with, when the society does it, you have to be alert to. Final. Is you need to know your kid. Really, like I spent a lot of time with them. And the reason I'm saying so is we had a brief period where, is it class 3 teacher, class 4 teacher, the things he was saying about, he wanted to take a drink to school, his drink and one for the teacher. It's a signal of, is it possible that this teacher is, like, it's a woman, right, if you didn't know, in the end, there wasn't any problem. But I'm just saying that a lot of time interacting with our kids is to know them, who they are, what their thoughts, what their concerns are. That way, there's something that's happening. They may not come to, they may not even, like this teacher, we picked it up from the conversations. Because at that age, he's too young to maybe know that this thing this teacher is doing is inappropriate. But he's chatting with you, and you're getting to know his relationship with the teacher. So if they've done something that they shouldn't have done, he will say it to you, not because he's even reporting it. Right? So, those are the few. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And then finally, we will have Auntie Aki. And then if you have questions, just get them ready. The microphone will come to you after Auntie Aki.
Thank you very much. What I should have done, I was going to tell you what I did. I thought maybe we would learn more from them. But starting from the negative side, my work schedule was such that, okay, my husband was as a lecturer. I work an 8 to 5 job. So in the morning, he would go and drop me at the other units. That is opposite to registrar generals. And the traffic at that time was out of area house. So you go drop me, and then as soon as he comes home, it's about 12 o'clock. Maybe I was saying, that I come from Africa. So in that sense, he was with them more than I was. And then 8 years later, I changed jobs. And that job made sure that I traveled at least 1 week out of every month. That is here in Ghana. And then when I started traveling overseas, it's either 6 weeks, a month and a half, that kind of thing. So their father was with them, related to me. Sometimes I look back and I say, maybe growing up I should have punished them less. And I look back and I said, when I was a child, I was picked on a lot. Unconsciously, I didn't tell them the bad children, but I thought some of the things based on my husband would remind me. These are just childish practice, we should go and look at it. But I think it came home to me when my older son was in the university and the younger son was in SS. You know, like, when we were growing up, if you have a cat, I'll put iodine on it. And then my husband's friend said, if you do that when they have it, they will let you know. But I was cooking in the kitchen when I cut myself. And I said, my older son was in the university. He's a very quiet person. And he said, kind of came alive. He said, well, how far are you in, right? And that was something, and he got serious. He just came and held my hand and took me in the first 8 months. The moment he said, it's payback time. So like after every brother and brother. And when I began to swear, he started playing back some of the things I used to say. He said, Jinakuti, oh, we are second member. That's what I used to tell them. No, that's second member. I don't pay the and when he just put the other thing and he said, I am here. I mean, I'm going to be named by Jesus because he hasn't said anything. So I got I said, hey, so this is what I used to tell them when I children. The one said, pay my time and next time, you tell me which one I care for. So, it made me realize that this I had to do. That was fast. My husband kept saying, I needed it. My three months. So they kept on saying, boys are like that. I said, hey, everything you say, boys are like that. And he said, well, that's what my senior brother used to play with my little brother. So, but one of the things I was particular about was that both of us were language. I speak to my husband speaks Fanti. I also do one with Fanti. So we decided that whatever happens, they will pick up English. I mean, I didn't start reading English until I was in class 3. And in those days, I went to secondary school. In those days, the idea, and I still think is the idea, is that we teach children in their native language. So later on, the children went to home science, and the business programs of and also doing that. So if you speak Hausa, they will speak Hausa with his auntie with the child. So we decided their first language will be aunties. Whatever happens, they'll pick up English. And that's what we did. So as we now we speak a mixture of Fancy and English, and they can speak Fancy. Their spiritual life. Now, because I do for the youngest in my family, I babysat a lot of my nephews and nieces, so I knew how to interact with them. My husband was the youngest in his family, and he didn't have close siblings. So when we are having morning devotion and things like that, you kind of watch the way I do it. And this is what we'll talk about. And then after our children said, Mommy, we know all the Jesus stories, so tell us about stories in the Old Testament. So we started reading up. And then I read a book. I mean, there was not much emphasis on television at all. At that time, we didn't have cable TV. What was there was GTV, close at 11, the programs you find in more. Plus, I'm not a big TV fan. I prefer to read TV. So I can control if the page is boring or whatever, I put the book down and go and do something else. I don't like things that will control me. So we'll take a book. Remember, we read and then passes 15 minutes. We'll read a bit, pray, and then we'll get everybody to pray around. And another thing I wish I'd done was children, boys or girls, they are not all the same. That I will pay attention to everybody's temperament. Some temperaments are easier to deal with, others are, you have to cry. So that was something I wish I'd done more. Another thing I was particular about was the sexual life. We didn't want, and they do well. I felt that there should be lots of us. If you say a person is a Christian, 3 things: honesty, or say money, sex, and power. The way they handle money, honesty, integrity, and a person's sexual life should be about. No monkeying about. And then you didn't want to police in the family. You get into this fight and that fight and the other one. It's not Christian character. So I remember I had the opportunity to travel with my older son to I've been away from the country for 13 months, getting some education at Morgan. But I came and they gave me a new position and they said the best practice is in the non-vision. So go, and then my husband said, your whole life has been within a 2-hour radius. And we told my son, University Graduate, Motor School, University of Ghana. And that this was before he came to University of Ghana, and he just finished SS. And he said, so we don't know this country. So let me buy a ticket for you and fly to Aberdeen. And we went to those places. So I said, read Proverbs chapter 7. Here is a book, tell me what you think about it. And then we will discuss it. So we didn't have to have another read for Proverbs chapter 7. Proverbs chapter 31. Yes. Proverbs chapter 7. People don't read it. The whole thing is about a young man going into a red light district. He was entitled to one house since married woman. So I'm saying this because a lot of us women tend to think that boys will be boys and plenty about conceiving is part of being married. People are worried about their daughters getting pregnant, but they are not so much worried about their sons getting other people's daughters pregnant. And I thought that's not fair. So it is something that we should emphasize. So
do we have any questions, right, based on what they shared?
Maybe a comment? Yeah, and maybe a question. Thank you very much.
Kwame giggled mischievously. Yeah, right. I made him laughing. We grabbed the shoes and left the house and church. Just another Saturday with my boys. I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you seated here. It means so much to me that you actually believe in this and you are here. Thank you so much. And I also want to say thank you to, so we are here, we are not paying anything, but there are individuals who donated in various ways to make this happen. So the food baskets were donated by Farmers House.
Wow.
That's how much they do in this. And then 97 Base is providing us with issues.
Wow.
And then we also have water that was provided by people who wanted to give. And then we have South Babies by Sugar, who also offered to sponsor the drinks.
Wow.
And she also has a stand on the lawn. So she brought, it's out here outside. Baby, if Lillian could kindly join us for the photo. Be very grateful.
Yeah, I think I me. What are you